Hey everybody, today we are talking about the Church's Canon C100 camera. I'm so excited to be bringing you these videos, just little tutorials to kind of catch you up or just a little refreshers. So first up, you're gonna have the on and off button right up here at the top. It's on the left-hand side. It says camera and then media. Next up, what I wanna show you is the autofocus button. So this camera does have autofocus, but we use what's called one shot within the camera. And that really just takes you putting the subject in the crosshairs, that's right in the center here, and hit that button, locks in the focus. The other cameras have the remote that's at the bottom. This one does not. So if you wanted to zoom out and zoom in, you use this guy right up here at the top. This is called a focal ring. This is changing your focal length from 70 to 200, which is like zoomed in to super zoomed in. This guy right here, this is your focus. You don't need to tend to that very often because we have the button that we press. If you wanted to zoom in, there is a button over the top right. It's called the magnification button. The letters at the top, M-A-G-N, magnification. Over at the top, where you can't see it, but it's this guy right here. This is where you change the aperture. So the aperture at the moment is 2.8. We want and love this lens because of how crisp it separates your primary image from the background. So if you ever check out our live stream on a Sunday morning, you can see how Andrew is like in super clean focus, but you'll see that the drums are a little soft behind them. They're a little out of focus. Now this camera doesn't have the barn doors like we talked about in the previous video. This one, it just has a lens cap, just like your regular photography camera. So that would go on here whenever you're turning it off and on. And this little guy right here, this is where you tighten and loosen the up and down action of the tripod. If you needed to lock it, you can use this guy right here. So the goal of this camera is to stay on who's ever leading worship or pastor whenever he's delivering a message. Just stay on him and stay with him and follow him. But whenever you're in worship mode, I want you to check this out. What you want to do is make these small, subtle, gentle circles around the subject. And really what you're doing, you're creating movement within the image. It's just beautiful if you go from a drum image, if you go to a wide shot where you're getting everything, and then you come over here, and if your image is still, then it doesn't feel right. What feels better is if you are creating that motion, creating that movement. And that's really what you want. And then the final thing that I want to show you and talk about is going to be up here in the front. So this little joystick is what helps you maneuver in between your ISO, which is your gain or your brightness or exposure. And then this K, the 3000K, these are the two things that I only want you to look at. We keep ours at 3000. Kelvin is a number assigned to color. Okay, so whenever you're using this camera for the mobile shot, the only thing that you want to change that ISO number, the gain number. You want to be able to provide images that are in the same brightness as the previous shot. For example, if you are over by the singers and it's super bright, what do you want to do? You want to lower the exposure, you lower the ISO. If you go over to the drums, you're going to raise the ISO, you're going to raise the brightness that's inside the camera. Also, doing the mobile shot, there is a converter at the bottom. Make sure to turn that on whenever you're using it, and in between services, turn it off. That way we can save battery life and record multiple services. So moving on, back to this guy. Over here is where you put your SD cards. Now, if you are recording, you use this guy right up here. So this is just your controls to monitor that, and you would input your cables into this section. There are 3 record buttons, 1, 2, and 3. And that's it, guys. I just wanted to give you an overview of the Canon C100. This is an amazing camera. I hope to have like many more of these in the future. But anyways, tell me what you think about this video, how we can improve, and I'm excited to make another one for you. Love you guys.